Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. We're going to take a quick look here at Unfi. It was a massive request I got from a lot of different subscribers and community members to kind of see what's going on, how much further is it going to go, and obviously what the potential, is for this coin. So if you're new to the channel, just know I'm not a financial advisor. Love teaching people to trade. And if you want to become a better trader, CryptoCache.tech is the website where you can register to essentially attend my trading academy, community, and signal group. I send out signals for every trade that I take, as well as just providing you with a really good medium to learn and grow from other traders. So it's a really awesome community, and we have a little over 200 members presently active right now. So really cool stuff. Check that out in your own time. So here's where we're at with Unfi. It's pretty, I wouldn't say standard, because that's what I usually like to open with. I can say here, of course, this is traditional Unfi, though. It has a tendency of going kind of crazy in short periods of time. We caught this trade a while back and just hit all of our profit targets in a matter of minutes. Obviously, that was kind of a one-off. You don't see that happen all the time, but these things do occur, right? So these massive increases will occur. So it's important to kind of just protect yourself if you were to try to invest, and to make sure to have some profit targets along the way if you were to consider going long or short, whichever direction, right? So again, multiple profit targets, trailing stop loss, the whole 9 yards. You want to have that in place to protect yourself in the long term, right? Again, just some friendly advice, but let's go ahead and take a look at some of the standard stuff here. First of all, we got the 20-day set moving average potential resistance there right here at about 1040, or at least it should be closer to that by the time it gets there. And what I mean by that is this is a previous resistance level at 1040, and coincidentally, it's a Fibonacci retracement line. So it kind of reaffirms itself as probably a strong resistance, so the price were to come up, 1040 would likely be a rejection. The inverse, of course, applied here as well with the 50-day set moving average, where the price action came down to bounce off of both those levels, or that level 3 days in a row essentially, and you decided to continue higher today. So that's great news, telling us the 50-day set moving average is working as an ascending trend, and oftentimes it runs concurrent with trend lines, right? So we can kind of see that there. So we'll just go ahead and put this line up there, of course, for future reference. We do have somewhat of an ascending pattern here. Even though we did lose this support level here, it is potentially going to work as resistance moving forward, but also need to recognize that it could break and use that again later. Again, we'll have that conversation another time, but generally speaking, right now at this point, we're not looking terrible. This the ascending trend that we see here is actually a very positive thing. All right, so take a look at the RSI. We're up above 50 for the moment, but we haven't closed yet today. This does sign to us that we might potentially have a rejection at 50 on the RSI, which would put us at right around 950 as a potential point of contention, right? So we need to be able to close above that today to get that definitive line break above 50 on the RSI to allow for the price action to continue higher. So again, it's pretty important we maintain the price where it's at. If we see a decent sell-off here today, that would be disadvantageous. Okay, so again, mostly positive on the macro for Unfi. Now, when it comes to the 4 hour, we can see a lot of moving averages working potentially for us and against us. The 200 is the most important. That is below the price action. That could and likely should progressive price action higher. We got a potential rejection off the 50, but that isn't super strong on the 4 hour, right? The 50-day SMA on the daily is much more legitimate than that. And why I think that is because it's a larger moving average, and there's more data that's involved with it, right? So if we take a look here at the RSI, we're up over 50. That's fantastic. So all in all, the 4 hour looks pretty decent too. But we want to also take a quick look at here is how much further, because it came down to a 9. We got a reset, extreme overtime rather, and then a reset, and then down to a bunch of others. So honestly, we're not seeing a specific trend to the upside or downside. So hypothetically, we could see another 7 4-hour candles. In other words, 24 hours worth of continuation to the upside is definitely something that could happen. Is it going to happen? I don't know. It's hard to say specifically. The trends are telling us that we're still ascending, okay? We're still making higher lows, and that's the important thing. Until that higher low pattern is broken, then of course you want to expect the price action to continue. Again, I would never assume it's going to continue, but majority of what we're seeing here so far is telling us it wants to. We've also got a pretty significant MACD convergence as well, but just bear in mind this is a little bit on the overextended side, and that is slightly concerning, but with the RSI being fairly low going into this run here, there's plenty more room for growth, okay? So again, mostly positive there on the 4 hour. Hours where it probably gets interesting. Let's go ahead and see here. We are overextended, so hoping to consolidate at this area about 950 and then leg up again once it has enough consolidation. But when you see a 9, it's very common for the price action to consolidate and or retrace or come back down. So in this scenario, we could very well see the price action do one of these, right? It could come back down. So we can't rule it out considering the fact that it's overextended. But again, good amount of support in a lot of different ways, so the likelihood of it just coming crashing back down is fairly low. Once again, when we look at the cloud, all green lights. Big surprise, of course, the price action shot up and the price above the cloud. So this kind of just reaffirms the fact that we're above these key level moving averages, these upper and lower leads, as well as a conversion line being above the baseline. That tells we have that momentum. And of course, this just means that if you have a long position open, you want to leave it open until it tells us otherwise. So for lack of better terms, the cloud is giving us a green light to go ahead and keep our position open, but I wouldn't necessarily say you would need to take a long position from here. It does look like it has some momentum, but it's absolutely overextended, and those are things that concern me in a lot of cases, because when you got RSI well over 70 on the hourly plus a 9 on TD sequential, it kind of just implies that we might see some kind of pullback. It may not be a significant pullback, but it will be something. Let's take a look at the 15-minute just really quick, kind of see if we are on the right side of the tracks, and we have a bunch of buy signals here from my EMA VWAP notifier. So again, this is kind of a nice thing here, kind of letting us know that RSI is well overextended. That's what these purple carrots are for. And of course, we're up over the 15-day simple moving average, or correction, EMA rather, on the 15. So it's usually just telling us that we're in good shape, we're on the right side of the tracks there, and the continuation of the upside is higher while we remain above both of these levels. Okay, and you could also see as well, Bollinger Bands, yes, we came outside of this context here, but we're still relaxed and poised for potentially another increase or just more likely consolidation. So to me, I think UNFI should consolidate, or actually no, let's go with I would say best case scenario, it consolidates at support at 950, and then of course legs up from there to retest a resistance at 1040. Another likely scenario is potentially for the price action to come back down and to bounce off of the 850 range, which would still be a higher low if you consider the most recent activity. So that wouldn't be terrible too if it were to eventually retrace and bounce back. Because again, if we stay above this trend line, that's the important thing. And the main reason why I feel that way is because the 50-day simple moving average is averaging itself out right there with it. And that's kind of a double benefit, so to speak, to the upside. All right. So again, mostly positive, longish feelings from UNFI, but again, Bitcoin has another ulterior motive, right? You gotta be very careful and cautious. So again, protect your investment. If you're using leverage, use low position sizing. And if you're using high leverage, use extremely low position sizing, because you got to recognize that you can get liquidated very quick and very easy, and it's just it's not a gentleman's game by any stretch. This is one of those things that will just absolutely destroy you if you're not careful. You can't let your guard down. So develop good risk tolerance. Those are things I help teach in my trading academy, and make sure that you just kind of be the best trader you can be with a sound body and sound mind. All right. Again, just some friendly advice there for future reference. So that is all I've got here for today here regarding this coin. I'll obviously cover similar coins as well, but generally speaking, I think we're in decent shape here. Most signs point up for UNFI for the moment. All right, so that's where we're at. Thanks again for joining me. You have yourself a great rest of your day. See you the next one.